feudalism ended in Japan with the Meiji Restoration beginning in 1868, giving the power back to the emperor and modernizing the country, presumably under his direction. A parliament, the Diet, and cabinet were established. The result was an industrialized state with a modernized military. Food culture added Western cuisine to traditional Japanese food and cooking techniques. Productivity and rice yields improved and property rights expanded, but tenant farming was one result which continued to be inefficient. High taxes led to social unrest. The food most well known in the West was sushi, created in the 19th century of rice and a variety of other ingredients. Japan had a lack of natural resources and the economy fluctuated. During World War I, Japan benefited from the war with an economic boom, which subsided in the 1920s, resulting in a financial crisis in 1927, then the Great Depression. It was relatively minor compared to the US and other Western nations. Japan had a long history of growing rice, including the development of paddy fields with the need for land preparation and sophisticated irrigation. Where rice growing wasn't an option, other crops included millet, beans, hemp, barley, and wheat. During the Meiji Restoration, farming was modernized, including steam pumps and land consolidation. Vegetables, fruits, and livestock were added. Seafood was a major part of the diet. The Meiji Restoration included an expansion of military power built on top of industrialization, again using Western models, including conscription and foreign military advisors. The result was military success against both Russia and China. Foreign policy became increasingly aggressive. The population was growing with tenant farming not producing enough food. One plan was to settle 1 million households in Manchuria, in northeastern China, and Mongolia. Japan attacked Manchuria in 1932, creating the puppet state of Manchukuo. The plan was to resettle 1 million farmers there and grow rice and soy using Chinese labor. The result was a disaster as some 80,000 died and the remaining 140,000 returned to Japan after the war. With food resources considered insufficient, the Japanese High Command planned to invade China at the start of conquering Southeast Asia. They invaded China beginning in 1937, conquering Nanjing, the capital of the Republic of China. What followed was the massacre of Chinese civilians and surrendered soldiers, perhaps the worst of continuing Japanese atrocities throughout the war. The death toll was estimated as high as over 300,000 people, as well as 80,000 rapes. Add to that the torture, looting, and arson. Japan invaded French Indochina, and the U.S. cut off their oil supplies. The U.S. and Japan then negotiated over their roles in the Pacific, with the U.S. refusing to give in to Japanese demands. The Japanese High Command decided to attack the U.S., expecting them to negotiate an immediate peace. It was a preemptive strike on the Pacific Fleet, with simultaneous attacks on the U.S.-held Philippines, Guam, and Wake Island, plus British-held Malaya, Singapore, and Hong Kong. The December 7th attack on Hawaii used 353 fighters, level and dive bombers, and torpedo bombers from 6 aircraft carriers. All 8 U.S. battleships were damaged or sunk, with the Arizona destroyed. In addition, there were the destruction or damage on cruisers, destroyers, plus 180 U.S. aircraft destroyed. Of the 21 ships damaged or lost, all but 3 were repaired and returned to service. The total killed was 2403. The Pacific U.S. aircraft carriers were at sea. The next day, both America and Britain declared war on Japan. The U.S. was now at war, ready to come to the aid of Britain and fight Japan across the Pacific. That meant massive military production, the draft, and training of the armed forces. It was called the Good War. Next time on Food History and Mystery.